Let's try again. Aha, we got a picture. Finally. Okay. We are go. Right, this won't be a very long one. I'm kind of trying to keep the thing short. I'm trying to get myself good rest with my neck and everything. I hope you're all having a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all that lot. So, hope you're all well. So this is just a quick one. We're gonna just tell you about onion staging. You know, when you get an onion, you can unpeel it layer by layer to reveal the other bits underneath, fresher bits underneath. Well, we can do the same thing in Kerbal Space Program, or as we say, KSP. So let's return. Oh, did I just go back to the Space Center? I wasn't looking at what it was on. Right, so here we are. We have a basic spaceship. We have the basic gear, so always remember when you do Kerbal, always remember that you're always going to forget something. So make sure you have some solar panels. Make sure you have the aerial so you can remain in contact. Make sure you have your monoprop, your parachutes, and a docking thing. Alright, but make sure you have these as well. Otherwise your monoprop will be useless, because I must admit I forgot to put that on the other day. And also some of these, so that before you turn these on, you know, these can sort of charge up a little bit of electricity. And we've got a battery in there as well, merged in there with that one. So a basic engine, whatever, and we may have enough to get to the nearest space station. So what we're going to do is show you onion staging. Right, so what I'm going to do is go to 2 times symmetry, like so. You press Y on an Xbox or triangle on a PS4, and that brings up this menu, and then this is the symmetry mode. So you press on it, and then you choose, you know, from anywhere from 1 to 8, and that is if you want to do mirror. That's for mirroring, so it works slightly different than this one, but we're doing this 2-1, and then we're going to need some decouplers. So what I'm going to do is add some rockets to the side. So we go to coupling, we're going to add these seem to be effective, and then I'm going to put it this side. Alright, these are the ones that want to come off first. Alright, and then we're going to always make sure when you put this stuff on, if you've got this in your options of using what's it, advanced tweakables, that means you can do the auto strut and the rigid attachment. Always put these 2 on everything you put on the ship, okay? It's just so that you don't need to use these things, which is what people normally use in Kerbal, use strut connectors just to strengthen it so things won't wobble. But if you actually enable advanced tweakables in the options before you start, you get those things added. So it saves you having to put those on, really, which are a little bit messy when you put those on. Right, now that we've set that, we've got to also make sure that, you know, every single part is on auto strut and rigid. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can press X, hold X down, and then press A as well, and then you can copy that, and we'll do another 2 there. Okay, because we're going to do 4 tanks, but we're going to onion stage them. Okay, which is going to be slightly different. So we're going to go to the tanks, and we're going to pick some tanks here. Let's see. I can't remember which size it was now, but I think it was bigger ones than that. Is it that one? Nope, I do believe it's the next one up. Should be these, I do believe. Was it these? Do you know, I can't remember now. Which ones they put on, because I got this from a sort of stock built in. It's already in the game, I do believe, and we're just gonna change it slightly. So it must have been this one. Does seem rather big, but Right, and then we're going to stick a couple on here, make sure it's in the center, of course, and make sure your arrow pointer is on the, you know, if you put it down here, it won't actually attach. If you put it below, it will stick to the sides like so. So therefore you can't detach it. So it's actually stuck. So you've actually got to make sure the arrow pointer is actually on the thing itself, and then you get the little gap. Alright. Okay, then we make sure that is auto-strutted and rigid attachment. The only time you don't do rigid attachment is when you use payload and you use the Airstream protective shells. That's the only time you can do the auto strut, but do not do, you know, the rigid construction, because that will, and you know, if you've got anything that slightly touches it or whatever, it can shatter those, and you know, you won't be able to do anything. Your spacecraft will blow up, basically. Right, we put one there, we've made sure that's auto-strutted, and then we're going to get a copy, and we're going to, and I usually sort of line it up so that we know we're nice and straight here. Oh, and howdy, partners, by the way. So it's just a short one today, because I'm very much managing my neck. It has been playing me up a lot, although even though I haven't been playing, so I'm trying to give it a long rest. And then I put another one there. I can't remember if I had 2 or 3 tanks now. And then we're going to copy that and put that under there. So I think that was how it was. Alright, and then we're going to move that up. So I'm going to go to here and we're going to grab hold of this. And we're just going to move this up just so that it's kind of, I don't know, kind of level, a bit more up like that. And then do the same again. Make sure you, each time we go back, you've got to press it again, and then get this one all see to the same. Is that the same? Looks about the same. Right. Okay. Now that we've done that, we need to put some tops on it, some caps on the top, which we go to aerodynamics. It should be. I think it's this one. Yeah. Put that one on. Make sure it's rigid and auto-strutted. Now obviously you can change the colour, you know, you can make it orange or whatever you want. I'm going to stick with white for a minute, and then we're going to copy that one, and I find if you turn it sideways it goes on. Yeah, this thing here gets in the way sometimes. This thing here, it kind of always seems to get in the way. And you've got to like press X on a spare bit of the screen to get rid of it. So it always seems to stay there. So right, so these are auto-strutted. Okay, we've done that. Now we just need the engines. Now the guy that put engines on here, or the person that put engines on here, they used the Kodiak one, which is very difficult to control. The actual hang on, let me. Yeah, the actual. It's very difficult to maneuver the craft, but so it's really difficult to do this one. And then I think we put it on large shroud, so it looks like that. But it does make it very difficult to maneuver this craft. That's the only problem. So I'm trying to find something which is a little bit in the same region, because this one is, yeah, see again, that thing is in the way. 208. So what one is 208, which is not one of those. 64. That's 240. That's too much. See, this is probably the closest, but that one again hasn't got a very good range of gimbaling, so you can't steer the craft, whereas that is going to be underpowered, that one. So it looks like we'll have to go with that, but it does make it awkward to do it anyway. But anyway, make sure that is auto-strutted and rigid attachment, and then we do a copy of that and plonk it underneath there, so we got those two. Alright, there we are. So there's our basic craft. We may be able to get to the space station as well. Now that we set that up, See, normally all these four, and oh yeah, make sure you've got your staging correct as well. So make sure these are firing at the start, then these are sorted out in a minute. Right, but I'll do that in a moment. So what we need to do is onion stage it. So what we mean by onion staging is if we go to the fuel tanks, we have this thing here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the side here and pull it over to this one. Alright, now what that means is all the fuel from there will be filling up this one. Okay, so that this one will, these pair here will empty first. So, but these will stay full. Okay, so it's keeping these full the whole time, so that when you throw these off, these are then empty. We can throw them off and we still have full fuel in there and full fuel in there. So on the second one you've got to do the same thing, but this time you've got to do it to the center tank, because obviously we want the center tank, let me get in a bit, the center tank to still be full. So then you do that one. Okay, so this one empties first, this one empties second, all the time keeping this one on full power, on full fuel, even though this one is going to be starting at the same time. So we're going to put that one down there. That's what I mean. And make sure you get this staging correct, so that all engines are firing at the start. Right, now we've got to sort these out, because now you've done your engine staging, you want these two to come off first. Alright, so we need this one to be first. So what we want is the other two to go up to the next section. Okay, so those go first and then these go next. I don't know why they split, but apparently every time you just they shouldn't split unless you want it to split, and then you get that one and then you get your parachutes. Okay, so that is onion staging, and it's a very economical way of doing it, so that, you know, if you were doing all four at the same time going to the center, which you can do it so that you've got one of these pointing it to the middle and then all four are emptying to the middle. You can do that, but the thing is, when these are half empty, okay, and these are half empty, really you're carrying excess weight. You're literally, if you take the half out of there and put it into there, literally these four here are added weight, which is slowing you down. Okay, but this, by doing onion staging, you're actually throwing away empty tanks all the time, but still keeping this full tank and this full tank. So it's a very efficient way of getting into orbit without wasting weight and fuel. Okay, alright, then all we need to do then to finish it off is a, what do I call it? A launch stability enhancer thing. So we'll just stick that on the side there. Alright. Okay, so there we go. So we're gonna, well, I won't save it because I've already got it. It's already saved. Oh, and by the way, you can change the colour of this. So if I don't like the colour of that, I can change it to that, or I can change it to that. In fact, let's do that and do the same on the bottom. Let's do that because we can do this as well, and then we do the same on that. So yeah, I've got a few colour options now. Hopefully we'll have more colour options in the next one, and then obviously to finish it all off we want to make these two and these two stay. So let's have a slightly different for that stage. Not all of them you can colour, but some you can. Now this one you haven't got colour, although that looks like colour, it actually means bare, which means it won't have this little cover on the outside. That will be a small one, that will be a big one. So as soon as we press to launch, alright, so there we go, that's that one. And then what I can do is we can just stick that in there, save that, and we're ready to go. Again, we chuck our staging. See, this here, they should be releasing when the five engines, sorry, fire. So make sure that's down there, otherwise it's still going to be holding it while you're trying to take off. Alright then, these two go first. Alright, because it's going from there to there, and then those two go last, and then when all those tanks have departed, the center one will still be full. Alright, so that's the theory. Let's hope it works. Oh, and by the way, the last thing to do is, I notice every time it always tries to fill all 3 seats up. Even though I tell it not to do that, it still does it. Oh, by the way, we have a Buzz Aldrin, a Michael Collins, and I do believe we have a... Oh, he must be somewhere up in space, but we do have a Neil Armstrong as well. Just throw that in. Alright, and then, actually, also, what you can do is, say on custom key number 1, we can have these 2 guys here. We're going to toggle it. Where are we? Can we toggle it? Yeah, we're going to toggle the solar panels. Alright, so that means we don't have to, go ahead and individually do it on each one. We can get them both to do it. So that's number 1, which if we, well, I don't know if we could push to the right, but if we push to the right, we're in space. I'll show you what those buttons are. Right, we're all ready to go. Let's launch. So yeah, just a little look at, people probably may know about onion staging. I'm sure people who played this for a while, they definitely know about onion staging. All right, and then we're going to put the SAS on. Always make sure you put that on. And then I'm going to look into space, because I want to see what a space station is. Because if we've got enough to get to a space station, why not let's get to one. I won't go to the ring station because that can sometimes explode when I go into it. So we're going to go to this one. So we just got to wait for it to come round. So we're going to press the Y button on our Xbox, and then we're going to go into this warp speed mode where we're going to spin round so that we're in the sunlight when we take off. So we've got a nice sunny day, and then that second space station, which is coming up now, is in a favourable position for us to, and I usually do it round about, let's see, round about, I don't know, about there, roughly. I mean, it's just a rough estimate, but somewhere around there. Alright, and then we're going to press the button, we're going to have maximum power and fire away. And off we go. It's a little bit of a sluggish start on this one, and it's a bit hard to control because there's very little sort of maneuverability with these particular engines. But the other engines, if I put them on, which would have been better, are a bit underpowered and we may not get off the ground. So I'm just going to edge a little bit to the right before we start. But yeah, it also kind of wants to, yeah, it's called vectoring range, that's it. The vectoring range is how much you can tilt it. It's very little on this, and it's not really good either. So off we go. And you notice these 2 tanks here are emptying. The other ones are still full. So if I go into this one, oh sorry, this is the one that's emptying, but this one is full. And so is the center tank. See, so everything's working as we want it to. Alright, and so we've done it so the correct 2 come off. Alright, and then we're going to start inching to the right. And then we're going to throw those off. So now we've got rid of all the excess weight. Okay, and we're going to slowly move to the right. About 15,000 on the 90 degree. I always have the craft so that it's on a 90 degree axis. A lot of people do it so it's pointing straight up or straight down. I don't particularly like doing it that way, I don't know why. Just my preference. If I want to do it my way, I'll do it my way, as Frank Sinatra once said. Whoever he is. Not a lot of people would know that, will they? I didn't check if I was up under 300 before getting to the light blue area. Never mind. Okay, now we're going to go to 90 degrees. That was a lot bit easier to control that time, must admit. So I must have done that. I think I did a very sharp right turn on the other one. And then we're just going to go down here. Let's say just go into map view. And just check this is going right. And still this central one is lovely and full. So it's only this one that's empty. You notice I'm emptying from each one to distribute the weight. So hope you find this, half interesting, but I just can't seem to get into any game at the moment where I got to place hours and hours. I just want to do short things, and also it's going to save me neck as well. I got to play my daughter tonight, so don't want to go too far, as you can imagine. And then these are going to finish any minute, and we're going to throw those off, and then we just got this one. All right. And as you can see, it has a full tank. Right, now, what are we doing? We're 65, so we could start moving across now. We need a minute and a half or more to be able to set our manoeuvre now. So you need to give yourself plenty of time. Bring it around, and we're going to go on to, I don't know, say 90. About 90, somewhere around there. Although I think the actual space station is about 100, so maybe it'll go up to about 100. So I can go fully to the right now, so that we can widen our orbit. So let's go to 100. I think it's on 100, our space station. Oh, it's on 120. All right, it's on 120. We'll continue that then. So I don't know if this will be enough, but we'll see. So I'll do it onto 120. Like so. And then we're going to set our maneuver node. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way of that thing, because sometimes it can click on it and then it says target it. And then we're going to push it out until it flicks over, although we're going to come in a little bit short of that, because we're hopefully going to be behind it. So we want to go so that we're not 120, we're going to go so 115, so that if we're behind it we can slowly catch it up. Alright, that's the theory. I mean, hopefully I've judged it right. It's always a bit hard to sort of tell. Make sure I've got the right one. Is it this one? Or that one? Looks like it's already behind us. So it's actually way in front of us. I've actually gone by the wrong one here. But never mind, we can just catch up with this one. It's not a problem. Right, we've got a long way. It's 20 seconds. So you cut that in half, that's 10. So I'm just going to zoom this along so that you don't have to wait. And then we get this, you slow it down so we can just judge this. We don't want to go too crazy. So 10 seconds, okay? Full power, 10 seconds. If we go. I mean, I could go up to the ring station, but that would probably implode if I go anywhere near that. I thought that I must have judged the wrong one. Alright, it took longer to go up than I thought. Right, we're almost there. Make sure we shut off just before we get to the bottom, so we can just ease that up the last little bit so we can get it nice and accurate. Like so. Dead on 0. Perfect. Right. There we go. We should now have a nice orbit of 115 by 120, and that's the one we want. It's on 120. Now let's see how much fuel is left. We have half fuel, so we should have enough to do it. So it's going to take a little while for this to go round, isn't it? So let's see. Let's speed this up. The trouble is it'll go quite slow. Oh yeah, and then we'll click on that as our target, by the way. Set that as our target. So it tells you the distance between them, and then you can click on this. And you can see that closing out. Every time we get to it with your ship, it will go down. Although it just disappeared on me. Hang on, I can't see it. It's moving so fast. Right, the separation is 300 and something, so it's going to take a little bit of time. We can only go as fast as that. So we just got to wait for us to go around a bit. I mean, I could go to the tracking station and speed this all up, but that would require effort. So there you are, at Onion Station. Very efficient way of getting into orbit without carrying excess weight. You know, it's better than putting 4 on and just, you know, Onion Staging them into the centre one, because then you're carrying excess weight, which will slow you down. So it's not a good idea to do that. Onion staging is much better. Separate each pair separately, and you can do it with 6 as well. So you could have 2, 4, 6 lots. So each one, so the first one going to the second one going to the first one, and then the first one going to the centre. You can do the same thing and do it with 6 if you want. If you've got a very big tank, you might be able to squeeze 8 in. But obviously you've got to go into your staging and make sure that all the separators pair off at the right time in sequence, you know, because otherwise a full one will detach instead of an empty one. So you just got to make sure you get that up. Now this could take a little while, couldn't it? So I'll tell you what, we'll go to the tracking station. So if there's any squeaking noises going on, but that's this headphone's squeaking against my you know, my neck brace thing. Right, so we can speed it up and let's zoom in so we can see obviously what's going on. But we can go in here and we can speed this up faster than we could before, so that we can just speed this up so you don't have to wait another 20 minutes for me to catch up. We're going to wait till we're getting fairly close. I could go, if I go to the next one up, it's going to spin around so fast I won't be able to see it. So you've got to be a bit careful. Right, now start slowing it down. So we're getting a little bit close now. So I'll just go a little bit more. Right, we're about there. Okay, and then we're going to close the warp mode, and then we're going to go back to our onion. So that's what I mean about why they were called onion stages, because it's like an onion. You gradually unpeel the tanks one at a time, although, you know, it's a KSP thing about onions. Alright, so anyway, I don't know why I went into that. We need to look now at our distance between us, which is, we have 2 markers. Sometimes you'll get 2. So one's 42 and one's 33. So we're still not quite there. And then what I'm going to do is raise the lower end. So we got 120 this end, so we want to be raising this end. So we want to do it so that we're getting fairly close, so that when we get to here we can push that one out. Alright. I know you've seen this all before, and it's all a bit boring. But yeah, I just want to show you onion staging, and I thought, well, I don't want to just do onion staging, that would have been over in like quarter of an hour. So just do a little bit of going to the station, just to sort of fill it out, so at least we got some half interesting to do. Now I know my things aren't quite as interesting as some people who come up with some amazingly wacky ideas. Whoa! I wanted to stop it earlier than that, because the next thingy, yeah, I've gone too far now. Yeah, I did it wrong there. Right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna push this out, and hopefully, now it's gonna increase the distance, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push it out so that it's still a little bit under the 120. Alright, and I can't see it at the moment. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. It's that one. Yeah. Ignore the blue ones. We're going by these here. So, where am I? What do you say? We want to slow that rate down. So let's go down to say 100 and say 18. Alright, or almost 119. Put it on there, and then we'll... Although we've already passed it now. What are you? Alright, we'll get rid of that then. Control locked, what does that mean? I don't know why it's gone target. Every time we target something, it goes control lock. Does that mean? Is it because I haven't got control? Because oh no, I didn't auto strike that. Is that why we're control locked? So that's kind of messed it up, hasn't it? So at the moment, that's on 11. I mean, it might be right if we go around one more orbit. So if I say go round to here, our next orbit. No? You're not going to do that? You don't want to do that? It's going very, very... Why is it going so very, very slowly all of a sudden? Right, oh, it's probably because that one's still there. So let me go around here a minute and do warp here. Speed this up. Do I know what I'm doing? I have no idea. But we'll slow down that rate, because otherwise on the next rotation it'd probably be too far. So this one will just slow it down nicely, he said, hopefully. I hope the other one is on 120. And we're on what? Oh, we're on 120. How come we are on 120? Oh, there, 115 there. Right. So, yeah, we're going to probably gone past it now. So, because I accidentally let that go one more frame. See, it's a stream curse every time it gets me. So, it's an excuse, Ray. It's an excuse. So I've got to go higher now so it catches up again, which is really making me sad. Oh, we've actually got a separation there, look, of 0.7, which is perfect. If we can get under 1 kilometre, that is what you call... Oh yeah, it's very difficult to get this. Barely touching it here and it's moving a massive amount. Oh, look at that. We're going to go with that because that is tremendous. If you can get, you know, half a kilometre or less, you've done really well. 1 kilometre, you know, if you can get, you want to get within about 1 kilometre. Makes the process far easier. You have to make less adjustments. So all we do now is wait till we get to that point there, which is 1 minute away. So let's 1 minute and 30 seconds. So let's not go too mad. Let's slow this down. In fact, I'm going to turn down, because that's a very quick time to do it in. If we turn down the throttle here till say there, that gives us a little bit more time. But I'll turn it down to there. So, because obviously 1 second is really fast, so you press it and you've got to immediately press it down again. And then I'm going to just hold the left button on an Xbox so that I can do this manually. Because if you do the D-pad up or down, it's literally full power or off. So we've got to do it so that it's a bit before, you know, so we can manually control it. So what we want to do is get to the 2, roughly around about 0. So that's about right. And then we're going to shut it off a little bit early like that. And just take that down to 0. And then that should stay on 0.3. 0.4, well that's good enough. So by the time we get to there, we'll only be 0.4 away. And then we can make a little adjustment from there. So let's go to, say, here. We should be able to see that now on our map view somewhere. There should be a little craft bubbling about in the deep space somewhere. Although I can't see it. It could be above us, below us. Where is it? Now, chances of seeing the space station is exceedingly slim. Oh, there it is there. Right. Did I... Should be away in the distance somewhere, but it's not showing up as a nice yellow marker. Could be above us or something. Or below us. Ah, there it is. It's down there. So right, now I made one slight mistake, is I haven't set this the DNS thing. Alright, because we need to be on the same angle as well. So we're going to not... Now this might mess it up, that's any trouble. So let me click on that, and then we'll push this so that we get that. I don't think it's come up. Ugh, I'm running out of time here. I want the DNS thing to come up. There it is, right. I want that on 0. Okay, which might actually bring this closer. Yeah, it's about right. So, that should... It's right at the point we were... But yeah, anyway, this 9 seconds... So, because turning the thrust down, it's only 9 seconds. You know, it's a lot much longer time, so we can put it on full power this time. We're going to speed this up, although we've got to get rid of the... Always got to get rid of the oil, the pointer first, otherwise you can't go into that. Right, so we want half of 9, which is 4.5. It's amazing maths, Ray. Dock up with this thing and then I can have my dinner. What did I say? 4.5. So, well, we'll say just after 5. Which is a bit odd because it's only coming up to 1:30. Shut it off early. Oh. Now what we've done is gone too far. So now we've got to try and pull that back because we've messed it up now. Which is going to affect our distance apart. Which must be getting very close now too. So I've just got to wind that back again. Otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. Right. Get rid of that. We should be extremely close now. Almost hitting, in fact. Right, there we are. Okay. So now what we do is we switch it to target. We go to retrograde, and that will cancel out this speed here. So we're going to wait until that maneuver point comes in, and what I normally do is just put a little marker on there. Like that. And then sort of cancel it like that. That just tells us how long, before, you know, we got a minute and a half before this happens. So we're going to speed it up. Let that get a bit close. Obviously not let that get too close because we might wallop ourselves into it. We're getting very close to the point now where we've got to fire it. There we go. We're going to cancel that. And then when it gets to 1 second, then we're going to fire our engines and reduce that meters per second down to 0. Well, almost. Alright, once we've done that, we're now going to get rid of that. We don't need that. We're going to point at the target. Now remember all this, you newbies, if you don't know how to do this. Now sometimes it lines up perfectly like that, and other times it doesn't. So, just got to hope we're lucky today. And then we've got to go into docking mode, because I'm going to use my monoprop, because it's much finer than trying, you know, you put your engines on, it's obviously going to go very fast, and we don't want to blast our way into it. So, we want to go a bit careful here. So we're going to turn on our RCS and then we're going to thrust it toward the target. So that, I don't know, we want to keep it under 1. Alright, and then we're going to move this with our joystick so that it lines up. And all the dots are all lined up like that. Alright. Then we're going to watch these craft come closer, but then we're going to switch. But by holding left button and do right on the D-pad, we can switch to this one, and we're going to tell this one that we want this docking port here. We want to control the craft from here, and we want it to point towards the target, which is, well, we got to find it just there. Alright, so we want to tell it to point towards that target so that they're both facing each other. Now sometimes it gets this wrong, so let's hope today, because yesterday I had to perform all kinds of weirdness and I had to do it manually. It's behaving a little bit today. It's actually pointing at it, which is great, because sometimes it doesn't work and you got to click on this one and manually do it. Alright, just makes things a little bit harder when it doesn't do it directly on target. Then we'll switch back to this one. Now we should be pointing straight at each other. Alright, now put our SAS on, and we're going to gradually bring this and keep bringing this onto here, but it's going to alter every now and again. Now you may say, well, you're going a bit slow, aren't you? Alright, we'll go, don't go any more than 1 meter per second, because we're getting quite close now. We don't want to go crazy and overdo it, otherwise yesterday I actually hit on a docking maneuver because I didn't have the RCS on, and I was trying to press it to go and nothing was happening, and I unfortunately hit it, not hard, but just gently punched it, and it's kind of made it move away again. So yeah, we just keep lining this up as we go, and then when we get pretty close, we'll double check that they're both pointing at each other. Alright, now you notice our little yellow dot in the middle is slightly moved off of the pink dot, so yeah, sometimes it does wander off a little bit. Let me just finish off that tea while we're waiting. And this, of course, is the point where people start editing their thing or speeding it up, so you don't have to wait a boringly long time for me to do this. But I haven't got that technology, so I can't do that. I think you can just trim out like a big bit in the front and a bit in the end or whatever, but it's hard to trim out lots of sections. It's a really awkward process on the Twitch and YouTube app. They're not very user friendly, so that's why I don't use them. They're not that great. It would be nice if we had better ones, both of you. But I suppose, you know, their attitude is, well, there's probably some free ones out there, why should we bother? And that's a good point. But, you know, it would attract more people to the platform, wouldn't it, if we could do that? Wouldn't that be a good idea? So if you're listening to Twitch and YouTube and you'd like to provide some slightly better tools for, you know, so we can... Adding clips together would be great, because then I could chop them into little... I could chop them in half and then splice them together. You know, like, you know, when there's the stream goes wrong, you know, cuts off midstream, and I restart another one, and I got to call 1A and 1B and 1C. I could stream them all together into one nice long video, which my viewers, I'm sure, would like. Although you might want it in meaty chunks. A lot of people like meaty chunks. So do dogs. You notice we're slowing down. That's because we're making minor adjustments. Because it may be moving sideways at 1 meter per second. So when we get rid of that sideways movement, it loses that one. So that's why it's gradually going down. Now I'll go up a little bit quicker, try and speed this up. But if I overshoot, I'll blame you. Because I'm trying to make it rush it. How is my monoprop? I should have enough monoprop. Oh, it's right cover. The recording bar's right over it. But it looks like there's enough. I can just barely see a bit of it. And also the electricity is fine, but I can't see the electricity bit because it's blocked. So hallelujah for that. And then what I'm going to do is switch it off, switch over to the other one, just check he's still pointing at it. Because he may not be quite pointing at it, he may need to reaffirm that situation. Is it on there? I'm not quite sure if it is on there. And of course, to do that, you've got to go back to this mode to be able to. I think it's moved off a little bit. Yes, it has. See, the yellow dot has moved off the pink dot. That's a bit hard to tell, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, you see, it's slightly moved off. So it does sometimes move off like that, and you've got to do it manually. So I'm going to do it manually now, because if I put it there, it's probably moved down again. Alright, so that one's okay. We're coming in at a nice speed now. We're going to make sure this one's pointed. It always seems to work on the one that the craft that you're operating, but not so much on the other one. Right, and then we're going to go back to this docking mode, and I can do it like that as a shortcut, and then we're going to lane these two up. And then we're going to start slowing down, because obviously we're coming at each other a little bit quicker. We want to be under 2 meters per second when we're approaching. We don't want to be coming at each other. Oh, now also open this hatch might help. And then I'm going to aim the camera at it. And we're just going to keep making it up, make sure that's nicely, beautifully in the middle. Hopefully that's all lining up nicely. It kind of looks like it's all nicely lined up. All right, now we're going to start slowing down because we're getting a little bit close. So we want to go down to about 2 meters per second. And just keep making sure this one's in the middle. Zoom in, we have a nice close look. And now go down to 1. Because they will magnetically attract, as you know, because it's like men and women, really. Men and women magnetically attract as well, you know. There you are, and now we're beautifully mated. There we go, like that. Now, if we got loaded of excess fuel, we could dump some into the space station. Now, I actually filled this one up the other day. I filled that one up. I just did a trip to refuel everything, and they're almost full now. Now, practically none of these are of any use here, but this was here because he's added these panels, so I'm going to leave him here permanently. That's the science area, that's the fuel, so if anybody goes to the moon or whatever, we can refuel here. And this one I do believe is full as well. Yes, so they're all kind of nicely full. Monoprop could do a top up. We have some monoprop. So we could actually, if we tag that like that, so that it doesn't move, we can open this one like that, and then we can get rid of some of it. Alright, make sure we got this one is pointing to that one. And then we're going to go out from there, and we could lose about a good half here. Like that. Maybe I'll put a little bit back in. Alright, so that'll just fill this one up a little bit more, and then we can untag that, and then we can get rid of them. Right, there we are. It's a nice little trip. Now, I don't think you want to see me go back again, do you? I mean, back to the planet Earth, you know, and fly all the way back. You probably don't. You've seen me done it before. But yeah, that was a nice little trip to the space station. There should be only one person in here, and somebody sneaked in at the last minute, which, you know, they are liable to. Actually, I might just do that. We'll just undock it. So what we're going to do, make sure we're controlling it from here. Otherwise it'll switch to the space station instead of our ship. So we'll make sure we're controlling from our capsule. So that moves that to the correct area. Alright, and then we're going to tell it. And we're going to get rid of that bit. And then we're going to tell this to undock. Like so. There we are. And then we're going to make sure we got the SAS on, make sure we got that on, and then we're just going to thrust away from it at a nice little speed, just to gain a bit of distance. Alexa, I wasn't even talking to you. And then we're going to shut this. Yeah, alright Alexa, you just carry on your own merry way. So we've still got some excess fuel. So there we are, and we can just do a landing at the old thing, which is in the dark at the moment. So we can just land anywhere, really. I mean, I'll just pick a spot. Now, if you don't want to see this, please let me know. Did I just press that? I just pressed that. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to do a maneuver node. And then bring this into, oops, usually about, I usually go down to about 35. I don't know why I do that. Some people do 25, some people do, you know, some people do it straight to the ground. I mean, I just do 35 because I'm getting closer and closer to landing near the space station. But I'm not worried about that now because, you know, space station's in the dark. I don't land in the dark. So I'm going to, how long will that take? 18 seconds. So we're going to advance the maneuver. So I'll try and do this fast as I can. And we shouldn't clash with the space station because we jetted ourselves away from it a little bit. Make sure we put it onto the maneuver node, which is this blue area, blue marker there, and it's half of 18, which is 9. So I'm just going to speed up a bit so I don't bore you too much. May have gone, and bam! Now I could put it on full power, but why should I? It's kind of, it knows that I'm only on part thrust, so I'll make sure we shut this off early. It's running beautifully on Series X, I must admit. I'm getting crashes on game resume. And apparently Microsoft said there is a problem with quick resume. Sometimes it does make the game crash. So it looks like they're looking into that. Because sometimes I find it is doing that. It seems to be doing it with Kerbal Space Program. And it doesn't happen with all games. But some are encountering that bug where you're playing, you know, after a quick resume. And it can sometimes crash the game back to the desktop, you know. So, or the home screen, should I say. There we are. So now that's down to 35. So by the time we get around to say, I don't know, here, we're going to detach that fuel thing. So I don't know, we'll stick it about there. And then we're going to get rid of that tank and bring this guy back just to make it a nice full hour. Right, and then what I usually do is point radially out, okay, when you detach. Otherwise, if you detach when you're pointing, you know, in retrograde, it'll be right in front of you, and you'll be it'll be pushing against your craft. All right, so now we're going to detach. So we're going to press the button to detach. Didn't detach for some reason. Oh, it did. Oh, it did. It did. All right. So now it should have detached. Has it detached? Sure, I got awful feeling it hasn't detached. Has it not detached? It hasn't detached. Well, that's kind of sad. So I may have to jettison the heat shield. Because anyway, we're going to separate at this rate. Which, you know, is probably a bad move. Getting rid of that. Because that should, you know, help us out. Then we go into retrograde. But yeah, for some reason that separator didn't work. It could be because I didn't put it in quake rate. But it can still handle coming back in without a, you know, it's only if you're like coming back from the moon or something, or somewhere further, that you would need the shield. It can handle a re-entry. He said hopefully. And I always double click on that, alright, and then go into map view just to make sure there's no collision likely at some point as we're re-entering. And it shouldn't do, because I usually point my my craft outwards and the fuel that way, so the heavier one should go down quicker and we should keep our distance. That's the theory anyway. So now we're coming down, and hopefully we should be all right. So as you can see, we're getting further and further apart now. So that's why I did that, and then I can just click on that and unset that. So we don't need to worry about that now. See the debris one? That's where it's going to fall. It's going to fall about there, but we're going to probably fall, in a different spot. I don't know. Whereas the ship, well, it's a bit hard to see the ship because the debris is in the way. And we should come down alright. And I want to make, hopefully we'll be on land with a bit of luck. It'll be a bit dark, and we'll get this guy home. And you notice the parachutes are showing red, which means do not deploy, otherwise it could rip them off. So if you look at this, it says unsafe. So you could keep this pinned up there if you want. That's it. That's the word I was thinking of. Pinned. But you'll soon know, because it'll be red, which means danger, as you know. The universal code of colours. So on some distant planet somewhere, we've got a Type 2 civilization, which I do believe means they can harness the power of their local sun or something. I don't know, or something like that. I mean, I could be wrong. What do I know? And yeah, they may be, they probably have the same red for danger. You never know. It's like a volcano's red. Sun could be red. Always seems like a dangerous thing. Red sky at night, danger. Blood, danger. So that's probably why. So it'll probably be universal all around the universe, however big it is, which is massive, by the way. And then it will go yellow, which means it might be safe. You could take a risk on it, and it will say risky. But if you wait, that means it's perfectly safe to do it. And our craft is not overheating, so we are alright because of it. We're not flying fast through. We're going at, 1,000 miles per hour. It's quite fast, but there's not enough to risk. Yeah, by the way, you can sort of alter all this. I mean, I never do, but apparently you can make the angle slightly wider, which I presume slows you down more. I don't know. You can do it so that it goes at a higher altitude if you want. Instead of 1,000, you've got, I don't know, 5,000 if you want. A bit early, but and pressure. And I don't really know what pressure does. Not really sure. Could be something to do with other planets. I don't know. So look, we're coming down. Looks like we're going to land in the mountains. Oh dear, Jeb. I'll have a job getting a truck up there. Oh, look at that. We could slide down, because sometimes if you're on a mountain, you can slide down it and keep on rolling. Now, I suppose it's safe to deploy now. I better deploy them. I think that would be a good idea. We are coming down rather fast. It may stop us hitting the mountain with a bit of luck. So I don't need that up there anymore, this thing. So if you get rid of the thing, you can just click it like that. So we could be landing right on top of a mountain here. Or it'd be nice if it landed a nice green bit. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Let's see if we are. Although, how would I tell from this low density? Please give us the upgrade to Series X on this game. It's running really nice on frame rate wise. Very, very responsive now. But it would be nice to have the higher textures that you've got on the old PC there. I'm sure it's capable of doing that now. And then on 1,000 meters, although let's switch to that's the ground level. Is it going to do it? I'm getting a little bit wet. Oh, it is. Phew, for a minute there, I thought it was not going to open. And now we're going to beautiful 7 meters per second. And yeah, I'm trying to speed it up so I don't bore you too much and make it so nice and neat. It's coming up to 59 minutes. We want to get it exactly on the hour. Because I know you like things to be like that. God, this thing's squeaking all over the place. Rubbing against my neck brace. But yeah, it looks like we might be doing a little bit of rolling down this hill. But there's nothing like a nice roll. Especially when you're feeling hungry. There we are. Now we're down. And we could just pop out. we could just tell him to pop out. You can either do it from down there, or you can do it from up here, whichever is your choice. And you can just pop out there, claim down, let go, and give him a jolly good wave. Hello! I'm so happy. In fact, I'm sliding at the moment, and I may not be able to get back up. And we could even take a screenshot, which now on the new Series X is just one button. Look at that. It probably say can't upload because I'm full. Right then, before we slide too far down this hill, yeah, at the moment my upload thing is, yeah, look, he's we're kind of sliding down the hill there. He's having problems. Get up, Jeb, or whatever your name is. Kenbury, what's up with you, you idiot? he's obviously struggling here because we're on a slope. Oh, come on. Jeez, how can it be so difficult? There you are. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I'll see you all in the new year. And guess what, folks? I'll see you later. I'll leave you with the spaceship there, shall I? There you are. Bye, everyone. Hope you have a lovely rest, and have a lovely new year. And I hope you're all taking care of all the, this new variant that's come in is spicing things up a bit on the COVID front. So please take extra care now and make it through to the new year, please. Bye for now. And guess what, folks? I'll see you later. Bye. I'll leave you with that. Just so I can put the adverts up. I think that'll do. Bye for now.